Alright, I've done all my little touch-ups on Jack. Now I'm going to go in and put my glosses and flats and semi-glosses in to add to the effect. Okay, I'm applying my sealer, my last coat on everything. What I'm doing now is I'm actually applying the gloss to the Bird of Paradise leaves, and I'll do that to the Bird of Paradise. You can see how flat it looks right now. But when you gloss it, because the plants, if you look at them, the very physical characteristic of the plant is a gloss. And these, I have the gloss started on these. If you'll notice, this doesn't have the gloss. So you can see the difference. That doesn't have the gloss on it yet. It just makes them pop. And I'll probably put 2 coats on this separate. Of course, the sky will be flat. I emphasize a little more on Jack's whiteness of his eyes, the reflection, to make his eyes stand out hard. The background and the shadows, I'm still debating. I'm going with flats, and I'll probably take lines, little marks of glosses, and make those kind of pop out just enough, yet they're still hidden in the background because it is shadow. And of course the stems, all of that will be gloss. The morning glories, they're going to be more of a flat because those are, looking at the morning glories, they tend to be more of a satiny kind of flattish color, so I'll leave it at that. Of course the wood will be flat, his hair will be flat. The stone will be flat. Like I say, the Bird of Paradise plants, they'll be glossed out, they'll pop against the flats. And a lot of this will actually change when these are applied, and it seals the painting up really good. And I pretty well got it wrapped up. I've already got it signed and everything. But yeah, it's I got a lot of little ideas for the glosses and flats on it. And around his mouth, I'll look around a lot of the pictures I've got of Jack. What I'll do is, I know around his mouth it's going to be glossy, right in this area a little bit, and possibly around the nose. I'll take a real close, critical look around his nose and see what looks wet and everything. But the video really doesn't bring out the colors it really is in it. It's one of those where you have to actually see it in real time. You know, whenever I purchase my art supplies, I always go all out as far as spending the money, because to me, it's very important, and it just makes sense, because if you're going to be working on something for days, weeks, months, year, why would you cut corners and nickel and dime something that way, especially if you're going to pass something on to somebody else that they really want to keep forever or hand down? You want to go the expensive route because you want it to last forever. You don't want to see something fade. You don't want to cut corners, because not only does it work out for yourself as the artist, but the other person gets a good end product. And it's never about the money, it's about the principle. It's about making something that's durable, because you put so much into it, a lot of thought, just picking stuff to death, you know, hour after hour. How important is it to you, you know? But yeah, as you can see, I've got the leaves. You can see how they kind of pop against the flats of this, and I haven't put the flats on it yet. This will blend in. Once I put the flats, this will just melt in and blend. And if you look at it, and I have natural light hitting it now, this will change in an artificial light due to the spectrum. I mean, you're limited spectrum on a artificial light unless you buy the special bulbs. This is the natural light I'm getting from. It's almost noon, so I'm kind of catching the angle, but yet I don't want it too bright because I don't like glare. I like to hit the angle, putting the gloss in to see everything. But yeah, you can already see how it pops out. And if you look at the stems, anything the direction of the light hitting this, which actually I've got it slightly this way. It's hitting it kind of at this angle, kind of from here, and you can tell. There's no. I don't see a need, because of it being texture. I didn't see a need for actually highlighting in real hard on the stems and the highlight areas, because as you can see, it does it itself. And as you move around the painting, you'll get the effects too, like you would in real life, because you'll see everything changes. Even Jack, when you move Jack around, even Jack, he changes. So any angle you see it at, regardless of distance, of close, he constantly changes. Everything changes in the picture. Everything, every angle. So you got to keep that in mind when you're shadowing and working everything into the painting itself. I'm going to put another coat on his eyes too. I want that really, it's really deep. If you look at it, it looks really deep. This is actually just paint. It's textured and smooth. That's actually all paint. So a lot of paint on this picture. It's actually pretty heavy. I want to say it probably weighs a pound and a half, 2 pounds. A lot of material in this, but all of it's good. I only use Winsor & Newton. I'll use high-end the texture material. I'll use Liquidex or anything like that. I only use the expensive stuff because it will last forever, and it's pure acrylic. It's just like the paint. Okay, I got all the glosses. Everything is to be glossed. All the Bird of Paradise, all the leaves, everything's glossed in. I put another layer of gloss in the eyes, around the nostrils, lips, and everything, because that will be a wet area, shinier. All the Paradise is all done. Alright, now I'm going to start laying out the flat coats. One thing to note when you're using flats, when it all bonds together, all your colors will change and blend, seep. Some highlights will disappear, so you have to watch that. Always try to follow the brush stroke. And I mentioned earlier about my model paste. I do favor golden the most. I do use that the most in the heavy matte. Pretty much all of it. I'll use gloss. Depends on what I'm looking for, like for the eyes. Okay, so you can now see how the rocks has changed the colors, and this is all in natural light. See the difference in the rocks? Okay, now I'm going to put a little on the driftwood. And then I'll show you the change in that next. I've let it sit for about 20 minutes or so. You can see the difference in it. It's starting to bond in. I actually put the matte flat end really heavy so it would soak in. And all the narrow areas, I'll take an angle brush and I'll cut that into the edges of the glosses. I'll do the same with the sky. Now when you do the sky, you want to make sure you do your strokes up and down, because when you come at it at an angle, you don't want to see the brush marks from the angle, because it kind of, you can see the marks. That's more the reason for that. But you can see the differences where the glosses and the flats contrast with each other. Is perfect. I'm putting the matte finish on Jack now, putting it all in his hair, making everything nice and blend. I want everything flat. See, I want these flats like the edges of the hair. I want it to overlay the gloss that'll be behind it, and how to make it look like it should look normal with the flat hair over the glossy, thick, leathery leaf. And you can't tell it right now because it's glossy too until it actually sets up, then it goes flat. Alright, it's 2:30 p.m. July 31st, 2018, and I think I am now done with painting Jack. Okay, I have my glosses on my plants and the appropriate plants, flats, his eyes, his face. I think I'm pretty well done. Now all I gotta do is paint the edges Mars black, trim it of the canvas, and I'll start hand building and painting and gloss a hand carved frame and mount this in it, and then everything will be completely done. But as far as the painting of Jack, I do believe we're done.